Hey Crittermanders, Starfinder fans, Aslanti spies, and critical dies out there. Thanks for tuning back into this Season 2 episode of Cosmic Crit. This is your GM and podcast host speaking, the Starfinder gamer with the most. It's me, Patrick, welcoming you to episode 80. And this intro is a little different this week, as I'm not alone. Joining me for the first time on the podcast is a friend and fellow sci-fi enthusiast. You may have seen his art in our Season 1 and Season 2 characters on our site or social media. So it's my pleasure to finally introduce you all to Mistaken Potatoes, aka Seth. How are you doing, Seth?
I'm doing great, Patrick. A little nervous. How are you doing?
Yeah, no, when we're recording this, very, very fun time for you, but also putting you on the spot at the beginning of the episode, not a crit bit at the end.
Right.
We're doing that because we're both here in the beginning to talk about your new stream on Twitch. It just started a few weeks ago, but I'm very excited about it. Can you tell us about your game? What's it called? What's it all about?
Well, the game is called Non-Standard Action, which is a pretty simple play on words, I guess. I was shocked to find that nobody else had come up with it, because I don't think I am particularly smart. But basically, it's an actual play podcasty thing, but it's primarily a stream on Twitch. We're going to be playing through the Dawn of Flame adventure path, which is primarily just focused on the sun. We're just going to be hanging out, getting a sweet golden tan
in,
for
around,
however many months.
Everywhere. Sun-centric, heliocentric time.
Indeed, yeah. That's a good word, heliocentric.
4. Yeah, I know, to describe your stream. I'm very excited about it. It's been perfectly, flawlessly executed for the first few episodes. But I didn't have you on this intro just to talk about that. Indeed, the two of us have been cooking up some more fun, including a game for our Twitch stream during CritterCon 2. Just a reminder that next weekend, April 26th, 27th, and 28th, we're hosting a full online Starfinder Society convention called CritterCon 2, and you can sign up now to play with the cast and crew, Paizo authors, and get into our 1-99 SFS special events, which is going on Saturday. But in addition to that, I think Saturday night is going to be when the main event is going on. We're going to be streaming what Seth and I right now are calling Survival Deathmatch Extreme.
Yeah, so what we've been talking about in our very professional business meetings conducted over PlayStation,
Discord,
chat.
Video games. Yeah, it's really like, what if we did this?
The idea is to take the players from Non-Standard Action and Cosmic Crit Season 2 and pit them in a 5 versus 5 Eoxian blood sport match to the death.
We are
maybe not to the death.
Very, very evil GMs.
So yeah, it's going to be 2 Starfinder teams. They both enter. Only one leaves alive. We have Envoy versus Envoy, Mystic versus Witchwarper, and Vanguard versus Vanguard. I don't think that's something that anyone's going to want to miss.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I mean, how many times have Vanguard gone up against a Vanguard? It's going to be a high AC versus EAC attack combat.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Like, I'm just picturing Kaz and Ninden's fist colliding at the same time. Can you imagine the entropy?
Yeah, no, the heat death of the universe is going to happen Saturday, April 27th. Don't want to miss that. And you do not want to miss Non-Standard Action. Find them on Twitch Sunday afternoon, 12 p.m. EST. That's 9 a.m. in the morning PST for our folks on the left coast. And on Twitter, where are you guys at on Twitter?
It's at Non-Standard Act.
Seth, thanks so much for being here to talk to me about all the ways our player characters are going to be biting the dust next week.
No problem.
Would you mind doing me a favor before we wrap up here and just go ahead and introducing this week's episode title?
Ooh, I'd love to. Do you want me to use my golden voice for this one?
Please.
All right, Crittermanders, you waited for it all week, and now it's time to enjoy episode 80. This one's called Waterwhirled.
Episode commencing in 3, 2, 1. Episode initiated.
Rebels against the Aslanti. Rebels, I'm not sure if that goblin is a boy or a girl. Hey, all you hot tramps out there, I love you so. Welcome back to another episode of Cosmic Crit. My name is Patrick, and I'm your GM, your space oddity, and your starman, waiting in the night to roll crits and go down with the starship. Joining me this week are my 5 friends and your players, if they believe that they could be heroes just for one more day. To my right, take your protein pills and put your helmet on. It's time for combat. It's Tyler playing Nikithi with his drone, Itis.
My helmet's extra thick tonight, Patrick. I'm happy to be here.
To his right, I'm afraid of the tiefling babe with the power. What power? The power to turn off all the lights. It's Rebecca rocking Talara.
Dance magic dance.
Across the digital table, his form of modern love gets me to the Church of Abatar on time. It's Miles with a win.
Good evening, Patrick. I'm loving these Bowie puns.
To his right, he can't afford the ticket, so he is sneaking his way into Suffragette City. It's Jabert bringing Bumfuzzle.
Hey, Patrick.
And finally, to my right, put on your red shoes and blue sunglasses. Let's dance. It's Drew running with Cass.
Yeah, man. Bowie impressions. They're bad. They're really bad.
Is Drew the new Tyler?
Oh no.
Do you guys remember when David Bowie was in the Twin Peaks movie? That was
You guys remember when Drew tried to do a David Bowie impression and he just did Ringo Starr?
And then change the subject by bringing him Twin Peaks. Good times. I remember like it was yesterday. Doodly, doodly, doodly.
Sounded a little Christopher Walken-ish to me.
Yeah. I think if you do any impression long and hard enough, it turns into a Christopher Walken impression.
You're probably right about that.
It's every GM's trap.
Season 6 of Cosmic Crit is nothing but walk-ins.
It's just 5 walk-ins.
Robo-walking, get over here. I can't do it.
All of these
be right
dice
there.
rolls.
Rat walking.
I got a fever, and the only cure is more get 'em. Guys, this is it. This is episode 80 of the podcast.
Episode 80.
Yeah, I like those episodes that end in 0.
80 is going to be Grady.
Oh,
right?
boy. Oh, boy. Rebecca. It's rough. It's rough stuff, Rebecca.
Rubbing off on me.
I think so, too.
Blame Drew. Does it feel like we've been playing Starfinder for that long?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I don't know. 80 seems like a lot.
I feel like we played a lot of Starfinder, though, so.
It's a good point. It's a good point. We're in campaign 2. Speaking of that, you guys have had some time now to feel out your season 2 player characters, your PCs. How are you liking playing them?
I mean, so far I'm having fun as Win.
Yeah, Bumfuzzle rules.
Bumfuzzle's broken.
Lara is quite different from Alindra. It's a little strange for me to be at the back of the pack and just kind of hanging out and not hitting a whole lot.
I remember it feels like Alindra at the very beginning was a little tentative, at first. With the Akata fights, she was taking some P's and Q's from Ed Ross.
That's true.
At the very beginning, so maybe Talara's about to bust out. Speaking of our season 1 characters, back in the day, we just finished recording our first Drift Rider special unlocked by our fans in the Patreon.
Oh boy.
Having gone back to your season 1 characters, is anyone really happy with your switch between, classes or race from season 1 to season 2?
I mean, I've gotten to hit precisely one thing. I've gotten to punch a thing. Kaz has so much potential. It's just hasn't showed it yet.
You got to crit an enemy starship.
Yeah, critting a starship. I watched a Dross do that.
Starship, schmarship.
Do you remember when Adros missed with some nukes? That was funny.
Yeah, I enjoyed getting back into the old Andis chair, but I'm ready to just plow forward with Bumfuzzle. I'm really enjoying the operative so far.
Awesome. Well, let's get back into it. Fairly quiet, sneaky episode last week. Your characters meeting with the rebels, the downtrodden members of Madelon's Landing. So, what happened last time on Cosmic Crit?
Ibretta proved a helpful host as she brought the crew up to speed on the Aslanti occupation of Madelon's Landing and shared with them a map of the colony's landmarks.
Sneaking into the storehouse, the gang came across Rendell Tace wearing Aslanti armor. Wynn was able to intimidate him into complacency so they could begin discussing opening the supply lines to the growing resistance.
Bumfuzzle perfectly impersonates an Aslanti foot soldier, staving off a second Aslanti visit to the storehouse to investigate a missing guard.
We managed to secure Rendell Tace as an ally, as he promises to supply us with whatever we need for the right amount of credits or UPBs. Afterwards, we decide to go check out the mayor's house.
The crew heard noises while searching the mayor's house and convinced Kaz to don a set of Aslanti armor to fool whoever else was in there. They met a teen rebel named Weldis Arkin, and together hatch a plan to purge the Aslanti from the village.
There's no way this can go wrong.
Weldis, here's a knife and a blaster. Go kill them all! You can do it! Youth springs eternal! Ooh!
YOLO! I'm a teenager in Madelon's Landing. That's what we say 2 years ago. Alrighty, that was last time, but at the beginning of this episode, we need to go back a little bit. Towards the end of the last episode, I made everyone make a perception check that didn't really have much of a payoff, but I knew what I was doing. Kaz was hustling out of his spacesuit, putting on Aslanti armor, as you heard someone in this adjoining building in the mayor's home. And Nikithi, your character sees something there in Madelon's house that sends him down a rabbit hole of memories. It's a few years earlier, and we see here Nikithi in a Black Op laboratory out in the vast, some unknown location. Very high-tech facility, and you are surrounded by Aslanti scientists in white lab coats, much like the one that you wear. Your subject this day is an Aslanti soldier, a member of the Aeon Guard in full emerald green armor. She comes in and is going to undergo some lab tests and genetic sequencing programs that you've been tweaking here in the lab. You watch as the soldier begins to strip from her armor while the other scientists in the lab make small talk, and it's there you see for the first time a tattoo that is on her back. The IVSC back tattoo that all members of the Imperial Vanguard Scout Corps get. You saw it on many others while working in the Aslanti Research Laboratory, and you saw it on the backs of the soldiers that you killed in the forests of Nakondis. And Nikithi sees the faint outline of that same tattoo for a brief moment as Kaz is changing into Aslanti armor.
Oh.
And he's into the next room and confronting Weldis before you have a chance to react, but Nikithi saw what he saw. Going back to your records, you photographed the exact same IVSC tattoo on those Aslanti that you killed. You took a picture of it with your rig. We are now back into the present in the administrator's office and the chapel of Abadar, which is a little more than a long container with benches and folding chairs. You all, before you head out, Weldis is about to head out as well. Why doesn't everyone make me a perception check?
Oof.
No whammy. Ugh.
What's the highest roll here?
I got a 19.
Is that everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So, yeah, it's a pretty threadbare meeting place. Looks more like maybe a town hall than a church, though you know that the business-minded Abadar Corps is a religion very much run like a corporation. So you guys have a look around here, and Weldis says, well, it was nice to meet you. I do gotta go back and take care of my mom. It's nice to know that we got some backup here in town. Don't let those green coats nab y'all.
Never. We are ready for a fight.
Yes, don't you worry, child. We'll be nabbing some green coats very soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and your little dog, too. Where do you live, child? I'm going to come and live in your bathroom.
Oh, my goodness. Look at the time. Whoa. I've got to get out of here
And follows him home.
and try and lose you.
I found my best friend. Goodbye, running crew.
Live with this kid now. Torment him for the rest of his life. Short little life.
What are you, a ghoulie?
Weldis turns himself into the Aslanti the next day. I give up. The rebels are hiding out over there. Right. So, is there anything else you want to do here before you all head out? I believe last week you found what looked like some kind of official mining report that Weldis said was important to another member of the town of Madelon, to a Goraya Li.
Did we learn where Goraya Li lives?
Not from Weldis, but maybe if you go back and talk to Ibretta, she can point them out.
Okay,
Let's do that.
that sounds like our next stop.
Yeah, and in addition to that, you all talked about using the rest of this day and going back and perhaps pulling some of the armor and weapons off those Aslanti that you left in the forest, and maybe doing some crafting of supplies and ammo and the like. Is that still the plan?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, you've unlocked basically the storehouse here, so you have access to getting some UPBs, and through Ibretta's workshop you can put some stuff together. I know Wynn wanted some more fuel.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Someone was anyone else purchasing healing serums?
Yeah, Kaz needs healing serums.
Wynn also purchased a healing serum.
Right. So heading back to Ibretta's, and it's still like midday here, early morning, midday. She welcomes you in and says, well, what did you find out?
What did we find out?
Yeah, what did we find out?
We found a
pretty-
teenager. His mom was hurt.
Okay.
Gotta get medicine through the pass, I think, before winter comes.
In the mayor's house, you found a teen?
Is what's his beak not a teenager?
Yeah, Weldis was, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well-
Did you find any evidence or anything that could help the rebellion?
Well, we found a trap in the mayor's house. Seemed like the Aslanti had already gotten there.
Oh my. Were you able to get around it? Are any of you hurt?
Yeah, Bumfuzzle here got rid of that trap pretty easily. He's pretty handy to have around sometimes.
Handy if forgetful.
Yeah, no, the goblin looks like he has a lot of screws tightened on his belt.
Most importantly, we found this report from the Blue 10 range. Our new friend, Weldis, mentioned that someone was looking for them. A Goraya Li.
Oh, yeah, no, this is a report for Madelon. Looks like you might have got it right before the invasion. It seems to detail an accident out at one of the mining facilities. But, yeah, no, this is bad news. But this report says that Goraya's nieces are alive. So that's good, but hopefully put her mind to rest. You give me some time, and tomorrow I'll have you go on out to her and deliver the good news. She's a good friend, part of the resistance, and she'd like to meet you anyway.
Tomorrow? Why can't we go today?
I don't want to be caught sneaking out in the middle of the day, and I'd like to just sneak a note to her and make sure that she's okay with you coming to her residence.
Okay.
And also we just talked about how you guys were going to be crafting ammo and all kinds of stuff here in my workshop. Is that not what you want to do?
Yeah, no, that is what we want to do. I guess because I did this before we started. I thought we were doing this between episodes.
No, it takes actual time in the reality of the universe. It's a couple hours to go and pull the armor and weapons back, and multiple hours to craft. So,
okay,
that takes up the majority of this day 2, I guess, here in town. And yeah, by the end of it, you guys are pretty tired. What are your resting situations like? Like she said, she's fine having like 1 or 2 of you at the junk shop at Ibretta's, but doesn't want to risk having everybody, all the eggs in one basket, as it were.
Well, isn't there plenty of room at the mayor's place? Didn't we decide that was going to be our base of operations?
It's up to you. I mean, she would say this exact same thing, that she would be worried about having everybody in one place at one time if they do find out where you are.
We're determined to split the party in this campaign.
It's almost like I have a vested interest in making very exciting situations happen.
I mean, if 2 people, I don't know. I mean, I think we should either all camp somewhere outside the outside Madelon's Landing, or 2 of us should stay with Ibretta and the rest of us should go camp outside.
I'm a fan of. I mean, I'm a bear. I'm fine with sleeping outside.
I wish I had bought a tent.
Oh my goodness. Rebecca pulling it back from season 1.
Craft one. I'm good with just legging it out in the woods.
Is that what you all want to do?
Have we gone to get the stuff off of the Islanti soldiers that we?
Yep. Yeah, it's basically night now, so you're thinking up accommodations as we are talking.
Yeah, let's go camp in the woods. I think we should all go camp in the woods. Should we split the party?
Perhaps we should make sure that we are watching all angles. They may be going through the woods as well. It would be best not to get caught unawares with all of us. Perhaps we should open communications to be able to do a pincer attack or some kind of
What are you saying?
What? Pincer attack.
You want to do a pincer attack while we're sleeping?
I mean, everyone here has dark vision except for Kaz, right?
Yes.
Some way, shape, or form.
Everyone but Kaz is going to sleep outside, and Kaz can sleep by himself.
I mean, it does get kind of cold out there. I think the temperatures, might fluctuate between like a 60 and a 30 degrees between like day and night right now on Nikondis. But do you guys want to build a fire? Do you want to have some other light source in your camp?
I can make dancing lights.
While you're conscious, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a big teddy bear, like a giant blanket.
Okay. All right. Well, so
we have environmental protections on our suits if we need it.
Well, that's up to you. Then you're spending time on that armor, and if you'd have to go back and recharge and things like that.
Yeah. I think if we, during our craft, I mean, considering if we're all doing this kind of concurrently, if we need to make, sleeping bags and some lanterns, we should just do that. I don't want to create a fire because that's obviously, I don't think we should make a fire because that is easy to see.
Yeah, it may be a giant neon sign that says, here we are.
Yeah, but I think if we crafted, 3 lanterns, 5 sleeping bags, that would be fine.
Yeah, all right, fine, Patrick. We'll go look up sleeping bags. Are you happy?
Oh, well, okay. Well, I mean, it's up to you. If you just want to sleep on rocks and stuff, it's your prerogative.
I don't want to make fortitude checks because we slept on rocks. I'll fail them.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna craft up some environmental clothing.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah, it's 10 credits. It's easy peasy. Gives you bonuses on things that are related to being outdoors. So.
You can make 5 tents for that same amount of credits, so you can have like a whole camp set up for these.
Cool. Let's make some tents and some sleeping bags.
So glad we're taking time to talk about this. 2 credits, gang. 2 credits. I'm gonna make a tent.
A single mass-produced tent.
I mean, how many people does it hold? I don't know. I'll make however many we need. Let's see.
I think we should each make. I mean, I guess we should each have our own tent. That's probably what we would want to do.
We should each make a tent, and we should make probably at least 1 or 2 lanterns because all you fools have night vision, dark vision, excuse
I
me.
happen to know you can make one tent that can, I think it's like 2 occupants, but you can make one tent that allows 6 occupants, for instance. That's what Alindra had.
That was the mobile hotelier, correct? That is a whopping 50 credits, and it indeed has like charges and gives environmental protections like armor. You do not need anything like that. It's actually pretty temperate in the forest. A standard tent, which is like very low tech. It's kind of like a very expensive tent that you or I could buy if we went to Walmart right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But you can make it for 6 people.
Yeah,
But anyway.
Yeah, the mass-produced ones are very cheap, and they will protect you from the cold weather. And I believe there would be no uncomfortableness sleeping out there. Is this your plan every night that you're here in Madelon's Landing? So have a nice little camp out.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Just have our own little campsite. We'll make lanterns are only 1 credit, so we might as well make 3 or 4 of them, and so we can light it up for Kaz and have one for him to walk around with.
Yeah, I'm making my own tent, and I guess I'll make him a lantern so he can see in the dark.
Aww.
All the cool kids.
Thank you, Bumfuzzle.
That goblin lantern is definitely going to explode if you ever roll a 1 to light your way.
If you roll a 1 on a perception check, it just blows up.
If you roll a 1 for sleep in that tent, it is going to swallow you whole. Let's talk about watches. Are you guys going to divide up a 12-hour sleep shift into enough to have 8 hours each? That would be 3 watches if you divide it up into 4 hours.
Yeah, that's fine.
Is there a time?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a time when the light is not full dark? Is there a dusk or a dawn that needs a watch?
I mean, the first shift and the last shift, if we're talking like, it's goes from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. or something like that, you'll begin the tail end of dusk and dawn in both situations. So that'd probably be where Kaz would be most useful.
I will take one of those because my sight at night is not as good as yours.
Bumfuzzle just hands over the lantern.
Before we make camp and actually start our watches, Nikithi would, I think, come up to Kaz and say, while we were coming in, Idis's scanners picked up several biological signs that I could harvest and use in my studies. Now, I do not want to wander the woods by myself, so I was hoping before we settled in for the evening that you would accompany me out and gather these with me.
This seems like too much of a risk for right now. Must this happen at the moment?
I'm afraid once we engage the Aslanti, I will not have time to collect these samples again. It is just a walk. We do not have to go far.
Very well. I will go with you.
Patrick, is there some kind of, is there a check I can kind of make to see if I notice any, local fauna or whatnot that might be interesting while we're walking about?
Oh, that'd be a life science check.
Oh, I like me them life science checks.
Are you looking for edible things? Because you guys will also eventually die of starvation and thirst.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking at anything that's edible or medicinal or even something that could be used for a drug or a poison.
Cool. What do you roll?
I rolled a 19.
Yeah, so there are a number of, for an Asharan, mosses and very poisonous looking shrubberies that would be delicious to you and would surely give Kaz all kinds of stomach aches, but you're able to gather up some things that would be palatable for everyone, some grasses and things like that.
Cool. Yeah, so he's probably gathering up these mosses and as much as he can, and he is kind of talking while he's working, and he says, "I have never been fond of the Aslanti. Wherever they go, they always seem to leave their mark on systems, planets, places, and people.
They seem to destroy almost everything they touch. They are the reason why I remember nothing of my past. Although perhaps I'm lucky. If Sedona hadn't pulled me out of there, I would never have found my master. I would never have discovered these abilities in myself.
And you claim that you do not remember much before Sedona found you.
My first memories are of her pulling me out of that wreckage, telling me all about the Aslanti and what they had done to me. To my friends whose faces I cannot remember.
Nikithi kind of stands up from whatever he was doing, and he's looking at you. You know, he looks very serious. And you kind of begin to notice that, you know, Idis is much closer to him, maybe, than normal. And he says, Kaz, I would really love to believe your story. Your dislike for the Aslanti seems convenient. After all, I cannot help but notice a few things. Back when we fought some of the Aslanti soldiers, you were not very combat capable. And when you went to try on the Aslanti armor, it fits you well, and you know how to put it on, which is something that most people from the Pact Worlds do not know. And finally, there is a little issue of a tattoo on your back that reads IVSC. So, it would be wise for you to not lie to me anymore and to tell me the truth about where you come from.
These are strong words, Nikithi. I don't think you know what you are saying. Kaz's fist lights up with green energy. How dare you accuse me of such a thing? I am no Aslanti! They took everything from me!
And why do you think that may be? If you do not believe me, here. He throws you his custom rig. On it is pulled up the picture he took earlier. There is your mark. Proof of your loyalty to the Star Empire.
Kaz looks at it. His eyes fill with rage. He reaches to where the tattoo would be. Although he's still wearing the armor, he can somehow feel that it's there. He can feel that Nikithi is telling the truth. And he crushes Nikithi's custom rig. What are you saying? These are lies! What is happening? And his other fist lights up with green energy as he can't resist pulling back to potentially take a strike at Nikithi for this gall to say such a thing to Kaz.
Patrick, is there any way I can make a sense motive on Kaz? Is that a thing?
Yeah. No, I don't know what's going on. So, Drew, that would be opposed if you are indeed lying by a bluff check.
Nerd fight.
But I'm not lying. So what do I roll for that?
Then yeah, no. Can you give me a sense motive roll, Nikithi?
Yeah, we'll see what the roll is, and it's a 12.
I mean, he doesn't seem to be lying about the words coming out of his mouth. What he's saying. I'm as confused as everyone listening right now, which is great for a GM. Great position to be in.
Nikithi just kind of looks at Kaz and says, "Let's not be hasty. I believe your story, but if you want to get to the bottom of your lost memories, perhaps this tattoo is something you should reflect more on. Do not let your anger cloud your thinking."
Kaz releases his fists. He takes a more meditative stance. He thinks back to some of the lessons that Master Jaren taught him and thinks on all the times that he let his anger get to his head in his training, and sees that he is letting that same thing happen in one of his first experiences out in the world after unlocking his Vanguard abilities. And you're right, Nikithi. I don't know what is happening. I don't know what to think right now. To be branded with the very mark of the people that have taken everything from me, I'm at a loss for words.
Nikithi kind of smiles. He walks over to you and he puts an appendage on you and says, "Who you were doesn't matter anymore. It is who you want to become. Although I think it is important to know the secrets of your past. Do not let them define who you want to be. But I felt it was important to confront this. We have to be a tight team if we are going to survive, and I had to know the truth. I am sorry for my accusations, but if I must also be truthful, I too used to work for the Aslanti a long time ago, and I left them because I saw great evil in the entire organizations and did not want my scientific discoveries to be a part of them anymore. We share a common history, and perhaps we can put that history to rest once this is all over.
Agreed.
Let us get back to camp. I have some moss that you may enjoy.
He's trying to poison you. That's deadly moss. He's trying to take you out.
Make a sense motive check on the moss.
Sense motive on snake. Okay. So that is a thing that happened. Is that something that you're sharing with the rest of the group? Everybody?
No, I don't think so.
Nice.
I mean, I know Nikithi wouldn't. He would just come back and, kind of maybe tell everybody he found some stuff, some interesting stuff, and kind of go all nerd speak on, the things he found and how they're important. But that's about it.
Kaz may be a little standoffish and blames it on not being able to see because it's too dark.
Okay. This is weird. I'm sure we'll explore some more of this in the future, but everybody has some Aslanti ties, it seems like. Some sort or another in this Aslanti anti-campaign that we're running. It seems to make sense. So yeah, you guys can rest up. You might hear some hobgars in the distance. They don't seem to be interested in challenging your camp, at least in the dead of night. Perhaps they're more of a daytime species. I think they do most of their hunting during the day. You hear a few of their calls through the night, but pretty uneventful besides that scene that we just saw. So the next morning comes. Are you heading back to Ibretus?
Yeah.
Great sleep. These goblin-made tents, they know just how to disperse the cold and keep you nice and toasty at night.
Mine was full of sand.
My cousin Casper taught me how to make them.
One of the beds was made out of AOL CDs, just nothing but the dumbest joke, and I'm going to keep making it all season. So Ibretta points you to the opposite side of town and says if you want to go meet up with Goraya Li and hand her this file, that's probably a good way to start today out.
All right.
Head that way.
Where are can you mark where on our map we're headed?
Yeah, it's like on the other side, almost the exact opposite side of the camp. So you can walk around the exterior, like in the forest, and I mean between the fog, the mists, and the tree line, unless someone was out there like looking for you, you're basically invisible.
Cool. That sounds like what we would want to do.
Go here-ish. So yeah, you walk over to her home. It's a single shipping container decorated to look like maybe a small jungle cove. You got some trappings of Castrovel, including signs in Lashunton, local flowers and planter units here, and knocking on the back door, a young Lashunta woman invites you inside. She says, "Ibretta said you'd come eventually. Said you were ready to raise some trouble in town. Is that right?"
That is correct.
Bumfuzzle just stands in the back, picking his teeth with a big knife.
You are an interesting looking lot, that's for sure.
You're pretty interesting looking yourself.
Oh my.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not running around with a giant blue bear. I'll melt into the rest of the villagers here a little easier than some of you, perhaps. But what is the plan? What are you all doing here? Ibretta said you had something for me.
Yes, we have this piece of paper, I assume.
Yeah, I mean it's like a folder. It's got
Like a notebook. Yeah.
There's like 3 pieces of paper stapled and maybe like a paper clip with a photo on it. It's
Like a dossier.
It's a beefy dossier, yes.
Okay, yeah. I
Space
hand
dossier.
her the space dossier.
So she looks it over, flips through it, and she reads it and says, "My, thank you so much for this report. I had heard about an accident at BTEP 1 a day before the Aslanti landed. I tried to talk to Madelon, but by the time I got to him, they'd locked him up in the garrison. Well, this says my nieces out there, they broke a few bones, but they should be okay. They're out on an exploration dig, and they're still a few weeks away from returning, but with that status field, the disruption that the Aslanti got up, we couldn't reach them to warn them. Well, this is great news. Thank you all. This means a lot to me.
Is that good news?
I was worried that they had died, so a few broken bones, I think that they'll be able to, one, it will slow them down so they're not walking back to Madelon's landing into an Aslanti trap, but two, I'm happy to hear the girls will be all right. They're Karasha girls. They know how to take care of themselves. They're stocky young ladies, so she expects them to have a full recovery.
I am happy that we were able to ease your mind. Now, before you mentioned that, I am happy that we were able to ease your mind. You are correct. We are looking to disrupt the Aslanti's work here. Is there anything you can offer us to help us with that endeavor?
Well, now that you mentioned it, yes, I've been meaning to tell Ibretta about this, but I suppose I can just tell you about the moisture collector. Ibretta mentioned that you might be going on a raid, try and figure out whatever it is the Aslanti had done to it that made it stop working, stop the flow from coming out. Well, some of the other colonists say they saw a ghost nearby, but I did not see one, so cannot corroborate their story. But I was walking by it a few days back, and I was singing an old song my grandmother taught me, and I swear I heard someone singing it back to me from over at the collector. But then I realized it wasn't a voice, it was the water itself, just lapping up a storm in time to my singing.
Interesting. We will investigate this moisture collector and determine what the cause is.
Well, what do you think the singing means?
There are a few sentient water species or planar water beings that this could involve, or perhaps other magical influences.
It could also be that someone's trying to communicate with you in code.
Well, it's a weird song. It's they said my grandmother had a little bit of magic in her blood. I can tell you how the song goes. And she starts to, it sounds like sing and whistle at the same time. It sounds like water flowing. And does anybody here speak Aquan?
Not I.
Nope. Her language. No. She's indeed speaking Aquan. She's like, do you know that song?
Nikithi shakes his head.
I do. Would an Aslanti know it?
I don't know, but I can tell you that they seem to have no problem in drawing water from the moisture collector. It is infuriating. We have to go to them for our rations.
Someone could be reaching out for help.
I don't know, but whatever you do, if you're going to take it on, I just want to say thank you and good luck.
We'll do what we can.
Awesome. So, XP update, everyone, in securing the trust of Madelon Rebel Goraya Li. You all just earned a fat 100 experience points as a group, which means you all get 25 XP. What does that bring our total to, XP-wise?
725.
That sounds right. We're still over halfway there. So, what do you guys want to do next?
I guess go investigate this moisture issue.
Yeah, let's go see the fountain. Something's weird about that.
Well, it's a moisture collector, and from what Ibretta explained about the engineering processes of it, it doesn't seem like it's very good soil here for digging wells. Very, I guess, too rocky underneath to keep much of a table of water. But because there's so much moisture in the atmosphere, they're just like pulling it in from the clouds and from the mists and condensing it with these big kind of reservoirs. You guys can sneak through a couple of other buildings, and it's only a few hundred feet from Goraya's home. I'll take us there on the map right now.
Ooh, special map.
Ooh.
Nothing ever bad happens when we go to a special map.
Nope.
This is a good sign. Don't mind me moving my pawn to the back whatsoever.
There's like 50 maps in this book. It's crazy amount of maps.
All right, I approach the moisture evaporator.
So as you guys walk up to it, you get a good look at it now coming through. The mist seems to be a little thicker this side of town, and you don't know why particularly. It seems like maybe some places where there's a good electricity running through buildings, it seems to hold the mists at bay. But here it seems like they might cut that down to collect the waters. But yeah, the tops of this look like these wide satellite dishes in the moisture collector, and it both collects rain, and you see these large condensers on the sides that turn the mists into water and just kind of runs down these huge drains and collects in these wide drums. And that's what you're seeing here, these blue areas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So there's 4 of them, and it kind of just circulates at the bottom, and there's tubes running between all of them, kind of purifying what's look like over some collected lava rocks from nearby mountain range. There's nobody here, doesn't look guarded, but from what you heard, it does seem like the Aslanti have some kind of control over the water flow. So what do you guys want to do?
I'd like to look and see like where the water is extracted from. Is it like running through a pipe? Is there like a spigot?
I mean, each of these large containers has what looks like, a pretty big like valve.
I see.
There's like a smaller spigot like on the side of it if you just want to get like a small dribble of water, but it looks like they can connect like hoses onto this as well.
Okay.
Wind licks it.
And so this is like, each of these tubs is maybe a couple hundred gallons of water. It's pretty significant. It's got to be the entire town.
Yeah. So if I turned one of the valves a little bit, would I get a little dribble of water?
No, nothing comes out.
Huh. Right. So is there something wrong with the valve? Have they like plugged them up or like filled them with cement or something?
No. I mean, you can. It's like you put your ear to it. It sounds pretty hollow. And you go over and like put your ear to another one and like turn it on, and it seems like water starts flowing, and then you hear it like maybe flow backwards, kind of like laminar flow backwards out the other side, and you hear some sloshing from the tank up top, and it seems like it just kind of stopped it from coming out.
So Talara would step up and be like, "I'm no engineer. Not really my strong suit, but this seems like sorcery to me. Can I roll mysticism to see if it's magical or something?"
Yes, please do. Give me a mysticism check.
14.
You're pretty sure there is something indeed magical afoot. Water, flows from a level. You can do a very simple check by like standing up on like a barrel or something and trying to like splash the water with your hands inside these drums, and it just kind of like sloshes away if you try to like cup it in your hands, and it dives back into the rest of the pool.
Like it repels you?
Yeah, it's kind of like there's like a magnetism between the water, and it just kind of goes and goes back into the tank. Why don't you make me a perception check while you're up there, Talara?
Oh, great. Oh no. 6.
Excellent. While you're splashing around having a good time, why doesn't everyone make me an initiative roll check?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Ugh.
All rolling like garbage.
Oh wow, this is perfect. Perfect time to do it. Alrighty, in initiative turn order, nobody sees this creature raising up out from the water. Not even Talara looking right down into it. It seems like it is a small creature made out of water, standing right in front of a few of you. You've got Bumfuzzle, Talara, and Nikithi. Oh, and Wynn, like right on top of it. And we're in initiative turn order. It is going to start us off, I think, with making some kind of random attack against somebody. Nikithi, of course, the target. You just get drenched as it raises up an arm. An entire deluge of water slams into you. Let's see if this hits against KAC.
Oh no, fresh water, your only weakness.
Yeah, no, thank goodness, right? What's your KAC, Keith?
14.
14. I've rolled a 4 on the dice. That is a hit, as you are flat-footed. And a whole bunch of damage coming your way. Papa, I'm rolling a d6 for damage. And you are taking 7 points of bludgeoning damage from this attack.
There goes my SP.
We're in standard turn 1 order. Bumfuzzle, you're at the top of this turn order. What you got?
Let's see.
It's a water friend.
Yeah, that's a water buddy, it looks like. Well, I don't know Aquin, and I don't think I've ever met a water elemental before, so Bumfuzzle just freaks out and attacks, I think. So, give me one second. I gotta pull up my list of good attack moves.
What are we doing against a man what's made of water?
He lives in the water down by the river. Wait, what?
Yeah, okay. So, Bumfuzzle is going to slash wildly with the knife, meanwhile pulling out an old-timey camera and taking a picture, and the flash goes off.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's a bright flash and it's right in your face. And I say cheese, Waterman.
Say it in Bumfuzzle's voice or it doesn't count.
Jeez, Waterman!
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That is only an 18 on the check.
You don't know how to engineer water.
Oh no! It sort of works.
The flash goes right through it.
I was like looking at all my things, and I was like, none of these things would really affect water. It seems like. I guess I'll take a picture of it.
Well, you've captured its soul, so you've got that going for it.
So I got that going for me.
It is not flat-footed. Are you making an attack? What were you using to attack this thing?
I'm using my survival knife.
Ooh, slash.
Chop chop. That's gonna be an 11.
Oh my goodness! Is this reality? Is this happening? You both missed the engineering and the attack roll. Oh my goodness! Bumfuzzle, how far from grace have thee fallen? That's a miss. That's your turn, right?
You didn't let me make an engineering check. Oh! I see what you mean. Never
for your sneak attack.
For my sneak attack.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, both this creature and Talara have rolled the exact same for their initiative. They are next to the turn order with a 12. We're going to have a little roll off. Rebecca, you ready?
Okay.
Just roll another d20. Whoever rolls higher is going to go next. It's me. I've rolled a 9. So is this creature who's getting another chance and it's gonna throw out a couple of attacks here because it is surrounded currently by 4 of you. So let's see. 2 attacks. They're going towards. So one is going towards. One's going towards a Bumfuzzle who just tried to cut this thing in half.
No.
And another one going to win. Let's go ahead and get this going. First attack versus Bumfuzzle. Slammed with water. Natural 2 on the dice.
Natural 2!
That's a miss, so don't worry about that. Which means, obviously, you have to roll very well against Win.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
The giant bear. Oh, God, I saw the 20 come up.
I did too.
Nope, 14 on the dice. That is still a hit, even with multi-attack, and boom, you just hit with a wall of water. For not too much, that is 8 points of bludgeoning damage.
God.
Womp. Yeah, this thing a little dangerous. Talara, we are on to you now. This is a fast-moving, is definitely a magical creature of some sort. What would you like to do, Rebecca?
Yeah, now that I see it in the not in the flesh, but in the water.
In the
Can
liquid.
I attempt mysticism again to see if I recognize what it might be?
Yes, you can make another one now that you're pretty sure this is.
Oh, that's much better.
Oh,
That's
yeah. You couldn't tell just by looking at the water surface, but you can now that you see it's formed up here. This is an outsider. This is a water elemental, which has been guessed here, but it's doing some weird things to this water. You have rolled enough to know a couple things about this creature. What would you like to know about the small elemental?
Let's see. What about resistances and special attacks?
No damage resistances. It does have elemental immunities, which are your guys' favorite on this podcast. In going back and re-listening to some older episodes, immune to critical hits, immune to bleed and things like that. I mean, it's water; it can't really bleed out. I guess it can gush out. Paralysis poison. It is unflankable, so I guess it doesn't really matter if you're getting up all in its grill. And for special attacks, you have heard at least some sizes of water elemental have been able to take on like a humanoid form, but also just turn into a giant vortex and suck people underwater and drown them. As a special attack.
Knowing that, I think Talara's going to move away.
Oh boy, didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I'm going to back up. Is that going to provoke an attack of opportunity if I move more than 5 feet?
Yes. If you just guarded step, it will not.
Okay, I'll just guarded step back, and I'll pull out my laser pistol.
Oakley dokley. Kaz, you are next.
Kaz is going to take a guarded step in.
Ooh.
And he's going to
right where Talara was.
And he's going to call out to this elemental. I don't know if you can understand me, but do you work for the Aslanti or against them? If you work against them, then stand down and we will have no quarrel with you. But if you stand for them, entropic strike.
I was about to say, it's busy drowning Win the bear right now. Just like...
So that's a 15 to hit.
Against EAC?
Against EAC.
Oh, gross. That's a hit.
Yes, for
nice
4 damage.
Now, what kind of damage are you doing here? Bludgeoning or acid?
So I'm debating that because I feel like it might be immune to acid damage because it's a water thing, but I don't know if bludgeoning would matter either. So we're gonna say, let's say acid.
You foolish fool. Yeah, no, I don't think that. I don't think it has any acid.
I don't think it does either.
Maybe if it was an acid elemental.
Yeah, maybe.
I just figured like water would wash the acid away or something. I don't know. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, you can't really apply logic to tabletop RPG monsters.
That's a good point.
The elementals.
Except where you can, well, with magical things, maybe not. No, so that is 4 points on the board against this creature, and we're on to Nikithi next.
Patrick, I want to make... I guess I should ask if this is even pertinent. Back when we were listening to Goraya Li, she mentioned that they can't, that the people of Madelon's Landing can't approach this, but the Aslanti can. Mm-hmm. Would a mysticism check, or would there be any kind of check to maybe where I could learn, what the Aslanti have done to this water elemental? Like if it's imprisoned here and like forced to do what they want, or it's just like a summoned creature that someone's commanding? Can I learn any of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you had a chance to see it being summoned, you might be able to tell some things about it, but it's just here right now. And unless you speak its language, I don't think it's much in a talkative mood.
That makes sense. Nikithi's gonna pull what maybe we should start affectionately referring to as a cause special and take a withdraw action.
Is that?
I don't appreciate that at all.
I'm just teasing, buddy. Nikithi's hurt real bad. He's got to run. He's going to move, take a full withdraw action, get behind his drone Idis, and just kind of take cover behind the drone.
Okay.
And the drone for its limited AI action will you shoot it. He's going to use its standard in action to shoot at it with it's going to combust some scattergun shells in the tubes that are of its tendrils.
Tentacle tube time.
Shoot some fire.
It's got a little bit of cover by the tub that it is currently in.
It's got plenty of cover because that's a big whiff.
It doesn't matter if you roll 6 on the dice. Yes, that is. Cool. So Nikithi's pulled away from this thing. Now we've just got Bumfuzzle, Kaz, and Win on top of it. Win, Miles, it is your turn. rolling a 2 on this initiative.
Yeah, that doesn't bode super well for Win. So Win is going to try to bonk it with the junk sensor.
Okay, bringing down fire versus water. Is this gonna work?
Oh, probably not.
Gonna put its flames out. What do you get here?
11.
Yeah, no, that is indeed a miss. The sensor just slams into the surface of the water next to it, and you see kind of big old things of steam and smoke racing up out of the sensor. But that is a miss, bringing us to turn 2, and we're back to Bumfuzzle. Jabber.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to make a quick adjustment on my laser pistol. I'm just going to shoot a sustained just laser beam right at the tank to try to heat up the water and make it all decrease its viscosity, so it'll be like slipping around a little bit, like. Ooh.
So, are you using the pistol on your attack roll as well?
No, I'm going to be using the knife on the attack roll.
Boo!
Yeah.
I like the flavor for the engineering checks.
Oh.
I want to provoke attacks of opportunity here.
I know that.
Kill PCs here, Bert.
I know you are. So that would be a 23 on the check.
That is enough.
Okay. Whew. All right. Well, guys, it's CR3 or less.
Oh boy. Oh, we can rest easy tonight.
Oh boy. Okay, here we are. Alrighty. That'll be a 19 against its flat-footed KAC.
That's a hit.
Woohoo! I got me one. Here we go. Ah, yeah. So that's 6 points of slashing damage as I just think.
So you skewer this thing, bringing the dog slicer through it, and you see just massive, I don't know, maybe you cut a watery arm off of one of its sides.
Yeah.
And you're like, aha! And it just reforms the arm out of like water underneath it, Terminator style, T-1000 style. So it has a target now. And that target's Bumfuzzle.
Guys, I figured it out. We need to attack it with a bucket.
So let's
scoop it up.
scoop its chest off. Yeah.
Let's do 2 attacks versus Bumfuzzle. Yeah. Bludgeoning attacks against the very efficacious goblin. First one. 7 on the dice. What's your KAC?
My KAC is 16. That's my KAC.
I think you're one of the 16 boys. So a 7 on the dice isn't going to hit. Trick. And neither is an 8 on the dice.
Ooh, yes.
Ooh. It is coming at you,
Nice.
Whipping waves of water in your direction.
Right. I'm just like hanging onto the edge of the tank, like trying to like duck down a little bit.
You're getting wet, but you're not getting like blasted full on with its water attacks. Mm-hmm. Bringing us back to Talara.
All right, I'm going to back up just a teensy bit more, and I'm gonna summon a demon.
Ooh, it's summons times.
Yeah, so that's my turn.
Okay, yeah, it's gonna pop in on next turn. Kaz, is there gonna be a next turn?
Oh, I don't know.
Your turn now.
So Kaz looks over his opponent. It is in relative humanoid shape, but it's different than anything he's seen before. He is going to attempt to hit it with a number of strikes very quickly for a Radiant Nova Star Strike! Dirty trick.
Quam.
So that's a 14.
Now, is this indeed a dirty trick attempt?
It is.
That will not be enough, because even with your... You count as like having improved, right?
Yes.
This is KAC plus 4 you're trying to hit, and 14 will not do it. 9 on the... Nikithi, next. We're back to you, Tyler.
Nikithi, as a move action, pulls out a towel and he's trying to wipe himself off with all the water, and he's like, "This is why I hate field work. I hate getting hit by stupid, inferior monsters." And then he takes a standard action and he he is, and he peeks over his drone. He's got azimuth laser pistol that he's going to try and fire.
Yeah, didn't you steal Jellic Folson's pistol?
I took it from him. Yeah. he'll get it back when he proves himself. So let's see what we got. That's a big missa. Just ignore that.
I won't. That was a 4 on the dice.
And Idis will use her limited AI to also take a shot. So,
Gulch gun in it.
yeah. And she does. Oh my lord!
What in the world is going on with these rolls again?
8 on the dice. Miss, I can tell you that. But don't worry, because we've got a giant bear pulling in the last place position, and Miles is definitely going to solve all your problems, everybody. What you got?
Well, first, Win is going to put Ginnam on this guy.
Lame.
And then he's gonna try to hit him again with his junk sensor.
You gotta get that target out and target this thing.
That is a 17 to hit.
The single melee attack versus KAC, that's a hit.
Yeah, for 3 points of damage.
Ooh, okay, so this one does slam into its main body, and actually, it seems like you catch this thing in its side, and yeah, it looks pretty hurt now. It looks like you guys have chopped it up and striked it, and now it's got like little bits of steam and smoke kind of like radiating out of its body. Turn 3, Bumpfuzzle, back to you.
I reach into a pocket and I pull out a big handful of Feldstein flour, and I say, "I'm gonna make a sauce out of you!" And I throw it at him to try to.
Don't turn me into a roux.
Right. I heated him up, and now I'm gonna throw the flour at him, and now I'm gonna gelatinize him, and now when I chop him, I'm gonna make it count.
The last turn was a complete ruse just to heat the water up. He wanted to hit the water around him.
And then I'm gonna throw somebody in there and make a somebody stew. But
You've ruined the water supply for the town, but you've killed the creature. Oh boy, what'd you get here?
That would be a 31 on that check.
Let me double check my notes. That is enough.
All right.
It is flat-footed. Got get him.
Flat-footed and get him. And then we're gonna, now that he's nice and thickened up, we're gonna take a swipe with this knife, and I'm gonna cut out a piece of Jello for me. Swing. Oh no! That's an 11 versus flat-footed KAC.
11 versus flat-footed KAC. That includes get him.
That's including get him, yeah.
That is just enough.
Okay.
You needed every single one of those.
Minimum roll.
Oh lord.
That's bonus damage. So it's 2 points of damage.
Excellent. All right, we're back to the creatures.
I get like a dinosaur shape cut out of it. So it's not like a like I wanted. It's just like a jello jiggler. It's not as good as I was hoping.
Sorry. Okay, it is back to this creature's turn, and yeah, now it's got a giant bear bringing down junk sensors on its head. Double attack versus win the bear. Let's take this big bear out. Natural 20 on the first attack.
Oh no!
Oh, bad times are happening here. Well, just so we don't have the stress of waiting for it. I'm gonna make that second attack right now. See what happens. Another natural 20.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
Are you for real? No.
Oh no!
Ow! 2 20s in a row.
Oh no! Everyone's favorite bear.
Oh. How's Win doing right now, Miles?
Not great.
I'd say not great.
Oh no!
Oh,
Let's do some damage. Well, I should say, if this first attack is taken out or win the bear, the second one's coming against somebody else. Miles, how does 15 points of damage sound to you right now?
I am down.
Through SP, through HP, down?
Yep.
Okay, so this creature, you all see just a big, wet wave of a fist. Looks like it almost cracks this bear's neck, and it falls to the ground unconscious. And this second natural 20 is going to someone else. Who's it gonna? Oh, no. We've got Win down. So Bumfuzzle and Kaz are the only one within range. I really wish an Idis drone would be here, because I think there's like a possibility for me to destroy it outright.
Yeah, nah.
Let's 50-50. 1, 2, 3. It's going to Bumfuzzle. 4, 5, 6. It Kaz. I'll go into a Bumfuzzle, taking out the 2 big damage targets right now. 19 points of damage. Bum fuzzle.
Jeez. Oh, I'll be honest, that almost killed me right there. Instead of a one higher one, it would have dropped me down to 0 and then dealt my max HP.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, and we've got 2 combatants out.
So that burns a resolve, and I'm down 1. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Real quick, it's almost like now all the frontline fighters are down, and Kaz has to solve this by themselves, or everyone dies.
Okay.
I made fun of Talara for casting Summon Demon last turn, but we're now on to Talara's turn, and the demon shows up.
Please save us, tiny demon.
All right, little buddy. You feeling thirsty?
What is that?
It's their demon. It's their little demon icon.
No, it's not cute. It's terrifying. It's much better in the big version than the tiny version. Once I saw details.
I love it.
Cute little demon art. We haven't bought tiny demon art yet, but this is something you found online, Rebecca, for our personal game usage.
Yeah, but if anybody wants to donate tiny demon art, I am gladly going to take it. Okay, so my tiny demon is indeed very thirsty after spending some time in, the hell dimension. So it's going to attempt to bite this water elemental. Oh. And I hope this macro is right.
These roll well.
Okay, that's a 16.
16's a hit. It's KAC.
So that'll do 8 damage.
And Talara saves the day. The demon literally sucks this thing out of existence. You see a small portal open up underneath it, and the elemental is gone. Straight gone.
I imagine the demon gets a straw and just sucks.
Oh, it's a playful demon. It's a cartoony demon. Once again, one round of demon apparently is all you need. We are out of combat, and you have been firing guns in the center of town.
Yeah. And
Bumfuzzle and Win are unconscious at the feet of this moisture collector. What do you guys want to do?
So Kaz quickly pulls out several of the 5 serum of healings that he purchased. Can the demon use a serum of healing on something, or is it just going to eat it or something weird?
What? I have a serum of healing. I'm going to go over to Win and
jab him.
All
right, I'm gonna jab Bumfuzzle because I'm standing right next to him.
Already roll those d8s.
It's 7 to win.
Oh, jeez, that's the most effective healing serum we've ever rolled on this show.
I think it might be. That's pretty great.
Gross.
And a 6 to Bumfuzzle.
That's way too many hit points back. Those are some of the best spent credits on healing serums.
No kidding.
Rad. Okay, so yeah, you guys are back up. And you hear maybe commotion towards the center of town. I think the jig might be up as you hear voices crying out over there after your fight. What do you guys want to do?
Take a 10-minute break.
We gotta get out of here.
Run.
Yeah, I think we better hide out before we take a break.
We should just run because we're pretty close to the southern edge of town. We should just literally run into the woods and come back later.
Yeah, you're pretty close to the eastern edge. You can do that as well. And you just just running through the trees, through the mist until you can catch your breath.
Yeah.
Cool. And then I'm guessing 10-minute break. Who's burning the RP?
Oh, I am.
Nikithi will have to burn one as well.
Oh yeah, Nikithi got a good turn 1 smack, right?
Yeah.
Man, Patrick has been rolling so many crits this stupid
season.
He's
I put it in perspective. No one has rolled a critical hit. Patrick has rolled 4.
Well, Kaz rolled 1 in Starship Combat, so that doesn't really count.
Doesn't really count.
And now a short commercial break in 3, 2, 1.
Sorry, we just need to take a short break here because in the madness that was those 2 crits, we forgot to shout out 2 of our Patreon subscribers. Thank you for backing us on Patreon. If you haven't, head on over and check out all the different tiers. The first one's from Jonathan, and they write, "You get a crit. You get a crit. Everyone gets a crit. Thank you, Jonathan. Not everyone gets credit. They're all for me. And our next shout is from Chupra Akata, and more specifically from the dog Maymay, who says, Maymay wants to make sure that everyone had something to drink. Water is very important. Also, self-care. Yes, water elementals are very important. Thank you, Chupra Akata. Thank you, Jonathan. And now let's get back into it.
We now return to your regularly scheduled programming, Cosmic Read.
I mean, and then Patrick has yet to roll a critical. Well, I know he has rolled ones, but he doesn't take the failures. And Bumfuzzle has rolled 1 critical failure. But I mean, still 4 critical hits, 2 of them to be in the same thing is insane.
Level 1 is potentially extremely lethal. This is just like the beginning of this day. I'm guessing we're down some RP. We're still down a few hit points. You drag Bumfuzzle out of there, get them back on their feet, and what do you all want to do? Well, I should say first things first. You got to get some experience points.
Oh, good.
Great. Hey, you did in fact win against this frightening water elemental. Nearly took you all out. That is a CR1 encounter. 400 XP, 100 XP each. You're inching closer and closer to level 2.
How deep into excuse me? How deep into HP damage are Win and Bumfuzzle right now?
All the way.
You got healed back for
6. You got hit
6 because Kaz had a healing serum, and Win for 7. How many hit points does Win have?
12.
Okay, so you're still down some.
How many more do you need back, Bumfuzzle?
I'm down 2 right now, so it's not worth it.
Not worth another serum.
I would say no.
You're down still 6, Miles.
I'm down 5. Yeah,
I'm 5. I'm gonna stick Win with another healing serum with his permission, of course, because I don't want him to get bit.
Go for it.
There you go. You're back.
Hey,
7.
Great roll, Drew. Well done. Well done, Drew and Rebecca, rolling big numbers when they're needed for healing.
Yeah, that's gross. That's like, I think, more than you've gotten back on Mark 1 healing serums in all of Season 1.
That's more than we've gotten back on some Mark 3 healing serums.
I was about to say, I remember some 1s and 2s being rolled, and you'd be like, why did we buy this?
Yeah. Oh, man. I think Nikithi would suggest that we go back to camp and maybe just lay low. Because he's still, after a 10-minute break, he's kind of caught his breath, but he's just still definitely got a wound that he's nursing, and Bumfuzzle doesn't look as good, and we've kind of caused a lot of commotion for a single day.
You want to go back to Ibretta?
Well, does the water flow now?
You guys had a beat feet out of there. Do you want to go back and see if you can test it?
That sounds like such a smart move. Sarcasm intended.
I mean, maybe after nightfall. But definitely not right now or within the next, while. I don't think we should go back.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still the beginning of the day. Do you want to lay low the rest of the day and wait until night falls here?
Well, I mean, most of us are healed back up. I wonder if we should check, because what if they put another water elemental in this thing? We have to fight another one of these things.
Well, I mean, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they wanted to, they would have it back within an hour. It wouldn't matter. We'd be having to fight it constant. Which, oh my gosh, next level XP farm, guys. Just keep fighting this thing. We'll be like book 1, level 5. This will be our boars in the field, like in the woods that we fight for forever.
Well, so what other things do we have to do right now? We let's see. So we've delivered the dossier back to Madam
Raya?
Yeah.
Goraya Li.
Goraya Li, yeah.
Goraya Li.
Yeah, no,
you've investigated the mayor's house.
You talked to the storehouse manager. Rendell Taste got him out of a bit of a pickle jar, some raspberry jam he got stuck in with that dead Aslanti.
There's a cemetery. We could go ask for trouble.
Yeah, we can go and try to thin the herd a little bit. That's not too far away.
Mm-hmm.
Try to cause some trouble for the patrols.
I'm actually kind of curious to know who is buried in that cemetery. Is that part of Madelon's Landing, or is that something new since the Atlantea have been here?
Yeah, Madelon's Landing hasn't been here for too long, right? It's only been like a few months.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, so like my guess is like maybe only like 2 or 3 people died. Like it's hard being a colonist, but like yowzers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to investigate the graveyard?
I think that's I think that's a good suggestion. That's probably we've created a pretty big distraction elsewhere, so it's probably pretty quiet at this point.
Might be a good
That's
place.
a good idea.
The cool emo kids hanging out at the cemetery after school.
Have you done that?
After fighting elementals, heading out back.
Kaz pulls out a data pad and starts writing poetry. It's really, really bad. But he's proud of it.
Make a profession emo kid check for me and see how bad that poetry is.
I don't know. I'm personally regretting not buying a stake, like a wooden stake. Can I go like whittle one in the woods?
Green check, whittle a stake. It wasn't written into the AP, but I feel like, yeah, this is a good place for a zombie vampire attack, right?
Might as well.
No, it's full daylight when you get here. So it's not very large. The cemetery, when you get there, at least doesn't look like it was supposed to be at first. You see a few graves as you walk in from the south side that seem to be maybe mining accidents, some of the early graves dug in the colony settlement. Grasses and things like that have already begun to grow on them. And then there are close to a dozen graves, only marked with some stones kind of like piled up above them. And these are nameless almost. Some have like some trinkets, like a hat or like a small picture, some flowers on them. The dirt here still fresh from what you're sure are those killed during the initial Aslanti invasion, perhaps afterwards. And in the cemetery center, there's a large stone plinth with many names and a memorial with a quote on the front side, like on a small plaque. And it reads, "To be continued." Oh, you thought we were going to fight a whole bunch of zombies in the cemetery? Not this week.
That was my hope. You said it instead of one of us.
Yeah, well, that's why you will never be able to tell when the episode ends unless you look at your watch. Playing. This has been a long episode. We've found some things out, I guess. And you've achieved your first combat mission here in the town center. Still see what the fallout from that is, but we'll come back here next week and we'll figure out what's going on with the cemetery. Get through some more action. You're all doing pretty well in Madelon's Landing so far. Nobody.
Yeah, we sure are almost dying.
Permadead yet. We'll see how that goes. But
I'm counting down the XP personally.
I know.
Yeah, no, it's we're getting close to level 2, but close is only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, and I don't recommend playing with either of them here in the graveyard. Let's wrap it up here, guys. Thanks for playing with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick.
And we'll see you next time. Tell everybody till the next episode. See you guys.
Yeah.
Till the next episode. See you guys.
Bye.